Okay, hi guys.
Good
Welcome.
morning,
Good morning.
everyone. Good morning, sis.
Good morning. We're on lesson 126, and it's your turn to read.
My turn. Okay, lesson 126 is reality reversal time, guys. Okay, here we go. There's another lesson I didn't get for a good decade or so, right? All that I give is given to myself. All that I give is given to myself. Okay? Yeah. Well, let's unpack this.
Yes.
Yeah. Today's idea, completely alien to the ego and the thinking of the world, is crucial to the thought reversal that this course will bring about. If you believed this statement, all that I give is given to myself, there would be no problem in complete forgiveness, certainty of goal, and sure direction. You would understand the means by which salvation comes to you and would not hesitate to use it now. For the means is forgiveness, right?
Yes.
Let us consider what you do believe in place of this idea. It seems to you that other people are apart from you and able to behave in ways which have no bearing on your thoughts nor yours on theirs. There's that private mind,
Yes.
separate body, right?
Right.
Yeah. Therefore, your attitudes have no effect on them, and their appeals for help are not in any way related to your own.
Anybody know that one? Not my problem. It's not my
That's
problem.
not my problem.
Mm-mm.
That's yours.
Mhm.
Suck it up, love.
Yeah. You brought it on yourself.
Oh, dear. You further think that they can sin. They can sin. We believe people can sin.
Mhm.
Right? You further think that they can sin without affecting your perception of yourself, while you can judge their sin. Goody, goody.
Mhm.
And yet remain apart from condemnation and at peace. Okay?
Mhm.
Wow. Gosh. When you forgive a sin, oh, he's got this is a quote marks, right?
Uh-huh.
When you quote, forgive a sin, there is no gain to you directly. Wow. You give charity to one unworthy merely to point out that you are better on a higher plane than he whom you forgive. He has not earned your charitable tolerance, which you bestow on one unworthy of the gift, because his sins have lowered him beneath a true equality with you. He has no claim on your forgiveness. It holds out a gift to him, but hardly to yourself. Wow, there's the kind of forgiveness that the world practices,
That's
right?
exactly right.
I
Yes.
forgive you,
Mhm.
um,
For what you
and
really
but
did.
I forgive you, but I'm not going to forget it, right?
Yes. That's
Because
another common saying. I'll forgive, but I never forget.
exactly, and I forgive you because I mean, let's face it, I'm a whole lot better than you, right? Yeah,
Yes. I'm more spiritual. I'm more benevolent, and I'm going to give it to you even though you don't deserve it.
right. So what I've done is I've said that what you the sin that you committed is
Mhm.
real.
Mhm.
Damn it, it is real.
Yeah.
And look at me.
Mhm.
I'm going to forgive this real sin that you
Mhm.
committed,
Yes.
right?
Identifying your brother as sin, as the sin that they committed.
Of course.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, sounds terrific.
Mm.
Not. Hmm. Okay. Thus, is your forgiveness basically unsound, a charitable whim, benevolent yet undeserved, a gift bestowed at times and at other times withheld, That's exactly what we do. We choose this one I'll forgive, but that one I won't, right?
Because of specialness.
Oh, of course. With our kids, we forgive our kids.
That's right.
Sometimes we forgive our partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? But the guy at work,
No.
or the girl at work, or the woman at work, forget that.
Off with their head.
Off with their heads. Guillotine. Right. Okay. Unmerited, withholding it is, this is the ego speaking. Unmerited, withholding it is just, nor is it fair that you should suffer when it is withheld.
Mm-hmm.
The sin that you forgive is not your own. Wow, through the ego, we really do this, right? We go, there's a sin in Mary or in Joe or in somebody, right? There's a sin over there, right?
Yeah.
And it's not mine. I'm triggered by it, but it's not mine.
I'm offended by it, by their behavior.
I'm offended.
Yes.
Oh, someone apart from you committed it. Someone apart from you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
That's
And
it.
if you then are gracious unto him by giving him what he does not deserve, the gift is no more yours than was his sin.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If this be true, forgiveness has no grounds on which to rest dependably and sure. It is an eccentricity in which you sometimes choose to give indulgently an undeserved reprieve. Yet it remains your right to let the sinner not escape the justified repayment for his sin. Think you the Lord of heaven would allow the world's salvation to depend on this? Would not his care for you be small indeed if your salvation rested on a whim, on the idea of the ego's brand of forgiveness, which is really condemning others and ourselves to death, right?
Yes.
Next paragraph. You do not understand forgiveness. I'm going to say this again. You do not understand forgiveness. As you see it, it is but a check upon overt attack without requiring correction in your mind. It cannot give you peace as you perceive it. It is not a means for your release from what you see. It is not a means for your release from what you see in someone other than yourself. Right? It has no power to restore your unity with him to your awareness. It is not what God intended it to be for you. So he's really speaking about the ego's brand of forgiveness. It is not what God intended it to be for you because it doesn't heal you and the person that you mistakenly saw the sin in.
It maintains the separation.
Yeah, it maintains the separation.
And even in like churches that mean well, it's still, they say, well, we need to forgive that one. We need to see him as God is seeing him.
Right.
But what they're not recognizing is that they still have made the so-called sin real. And Jesus says, you cannot forgive what you have made real. Same thing with sickness. If you see someone who's sick and you've made it real, but you're trying to pray for them, that doesn't work because you've judged it as real. So forgiveness past, judging something as real doesn't work. We've got to heal it where it's at. He's going to go into this beautifully, but it's in our mind that forgiveness heals. It heals the belief that you and your brother are different or separate.
So when I judge a sickness as real or a sin as real, obviously I'm going to be triggered and I'll have fear about it or whatever, right?
Right.
Okay. I'm actually blocking God's healing.
That's right. That's it. Our judgment of a false illusion makes that as it's a total block.
And that's why we need to forgive.
Yes.
Right? And we actually don't really forgive the sickness itself because in truth, there is no sickness or sin. What we do is we fess up and say, sorry, Holy Spirit, I've been mistaken in believing that this appearance, ego appearance phenomena, right, is real.
Yes.
And I want to forgive myself for it. I want to forgive this belief. It always comes back to the self.
Yes.
I forgive myself for having mistakenly believed whatever it is I am seeing through the body's false 5 senses.
And in the recognition that we wanted to make that real so that our mind isn't open to God, so that we do have the block to the awareness that I and the Father are one. We're, it's the mind that's fixated on what's not true through fear and judgment and control. These are all the ways that we block the movement of God, or being just the expression of God. That's what all this unforgiveness is. Yeah, just a block. Sorry for having believed that to block my awareness to what's really happening here.
Yeah, beautiful. Then we can heal.
Yeah, that's right. Then our perception can be healed. Our mind can be healed. And that's all there is to the problem.
And what I meant by then we can heal, is that we become the expression of God's healing and God's love for others who may still believe they are sick or in pain or in lack or in conflict, or whatever it might be, right?
So you're saying we can't give what we haven't first received.
Exactly. Thank you, Sis, for saying it so beautifully. That's it. We have to receive the atonement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Got what paragraph we're up to?
I don't know.
You don't know. I think we're up to
7. Not 7. Having given him.
Yeah. Okay. Not having given him the gift he asks of you, you cannot recognize his gifts and think he has not given them to you. Oh boy. Yet would he ask you for a gift unless it was for you? Could he be satisfied with empty gestures and evaluate such petty gifts as worthy of his son? Salvation is a better gift than this, and true forgiveness, as the means by which it is attained, must heal the mind that gives, for giving is receiving. What remains as unreceived has not been given, but what has been given must have been received. There it is. This is what you just said before, right?
Yeah, right.
I must receive first before I can give. Yeah.
That's right. Because if you're not receiving truly, if you're not giving the real gift, you're giving attack. If you think you know what anything is for and you move before you receive. So instead of waiting on your, the Holy Spirit, your right mind, checking in with God, what is this? And truly receiving a real gift and then giving it. Because otherwise, if you decide, the mythical me or ego decides, I know what this is, I know what needs to be done, and you try to give to a brother, you're attacking him. You're compounding the problem. You're giving more fear, right? And all attack is self-attack. You're not only attacking your brother, but because you and your brother are one, you're attacking yourself. So make sure that you receive a real gift, the real message from the one who knows before you extend. And then what you give is given truly.
Yeah. Can I give a practical example? I'm going to try and summarize this.
That'd be great. And I'm
going to try not to lose the impact of it, right?
Yes.
I don't know if maybe I've shared this story before, but forgive me if I have, all right? It's pertinent to this.
Yeah,
and I've had many, many, many similar instances. But one that stands out right now is that this is a number of years ago, my daughter was very, very ill. on death's door, literally. And she had anorexia nervosa and bulimia and weighed 78 pounds or 77 pounds, and she's taller than me. And the doctor, her doctor, had called me and was crying on the phone. I think you know this, sis, you were there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Her doctor was crying on the phone, saying to me, you have to do something. Do you realize your daughter is going to be dead within a week or a month?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Because her, what's it called? The test results revealed that, I've forgotten the name of it, but I can't remember the name. I'm hopeless. I used to be good at this, but I'm losing it all. The ego's laws, right, say that her major organs are going only have a short time.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I was alone in my apartment when I received the call. And of course, the first thing was the panic of the ego, the mythical me, the Nouk part, the mother, right? Mm-hmm. And the guilt. I don't know if you can associate with this, but the guilt went from, a 5 to 1,000 in that instant. And the ego was just telling me, look what you've done. What kind of a mother are you? And if she dies, on your head be it. It went ballistic. Yeah. But at some point, I realized, because I understood at that point, that if I was going to entertain these ego attack thoughts, that I was going to kill my daughter quickly, right? Mm-hmm. Because we share the same mind. Right. And I prayed with Jesus at the time and just said, I don't know how to see this. I don't know anything. And I want for my daughter to be healed, her mind to be healed. Mm-hmm. Prioritize the mind healing. Yeah. And for the message that I received was that I had to accept the healing. I had to, as quickly as possible, sit down and join with him. Join with, well, for me, it was Jesus, right? And really, really join with Jesus in accepting the atonement. Like I'd never accepted the atonement before. That was where it was at. And the experience that I had was that my fear disappeared. And the reason why, through accepting the atonement, which is God's will, I had to accept the atonement. And what happened in that was that the guilt completely left. I'm not saying it didn't return to taunt me later, but during that huge opening of healing, I accepted the atonement. Yeah. I really, really accepted the atonement in that, and knew in that moment that my daughter was healed. Okay. Mm-hmm. Of course, I forgot it later, but that doesn't matter, because when the ego returns later, it's bullshit. It's just the ego returning. But what really happened, and in that holy instant of accepting the atonement, was that I was healed. She was healed too. Right. And so it was a big lesson for me not to doubt that healing. And I think that points to what he's speaking about here, right, sis?
Right. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
You were the one that stopped and received truly and forgave it. True forgiveness.
Yes.
Yeah.
True forgiveness. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was my healing. Mm-hmm. I was not helping her by going, oh, you poor darling, and listening to the doctor, and oh my God.
And notice that every other mind, if you had gone anywhere in the world and said, this is what's going on, anybody that said they loved you maybe is not on this path, would have just gone right into it. Oh my God, it's terrible. And you've got to do something, right? And yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. And so the outcome of that is my daughter did a complete turnaround.
Mm-hmm.
And she's now the healthy mother of one and is about to give birth in the next week and a half, to a second baby, right?
Yes.
So hey, that was the turning point. And I've got to thank the doctor because she scared the frigging shit out of me like you would.
Yeah.
She was the one that helped to push the ego to the wall, up against the wall, and slap me out of it. Go, wow, there's only one truth. The truth is true, and nothing else is true. Was I going to believe what Jesus was saying in the course, or was I going to believe what the doctor was telling me? Right?
That's the choice every moment. And thank you, because your decision to not go down that rabbit hole not only saved your daughter, but I mean, there's so much more light on the weight of truth now that flooded in with your just holding the line. And then, your daughter's turnaround is the proof of that, making the choice for God, for only what's real. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should finish the lesson, huh?
Okay.
Okay. Today we try to understand the truth that giver and receiver are the same. You will need, can we relate that to me and my daughter in that instant? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You will need help to make this meaningful because it is so alien to the thoughts to which you're accustomed. But the help you need is there. Give him your faith today and ask him that he share your practicing in truth today. And if you only catch a tiny glimpse of the release that lies in the idea we practice for today, this is a day of glory for the world.
So good.
Right? That's how widespread the holographic nature of this healing is, quantum nature of the healing is, right? Give 15 minutes twice today to the attempt to understand today's idea. It is the thought by which forgiveness takes its proper place in your priorities. It is a thought that will release your mind from every bar to what forgiveness means and let you realize its worth to you. In silence, close your eyes upon the world that does not understand forgiveness and seek sanctuary in the quiet place where thoughts are changed and false beliefs laid by. Repeat today's idea and ask for help in understanding what it really means. Be willing to be taught. Be glad to hear the voice of truth and healing speak to you, and you will understand the words he speaks and recognize he speaks your words to you. There he goes again.
Yes.
And recognize he speaks your words to you, because as we come into alignment as the will of God, it is our holy self, the Christ within.
Yes.
His words, God's words, and his words, because we are one with him, right?
That's right. That's accepting the atonement, that we are one with him, and that the Christ's words are our words. Christ is one with God. God's word is our word. It's the collapsing of the trio back into the one in which it is. Just one. Yeah. So, and that's why all when we give, we're only ever giving to ourself.
Next, as often as you can, remind yourself you have a goal today, an aim which makes this day of special value to yourself and all your brothers. Do not let your mind forget this goal for long, but tell yourself this: All that I give is given to myself. The help I need to learn that this is true is with me now, and I will trust in him. And then spend a quiet moment opening your mind to his correction and his love. And what you hear of him, you will believe, for what he gives will be received by you. Wow, beautiful. All that I give is given to myself.
Thank you.
Isn't that beautiful?
It
And
is.
I think this is a good place to share something, which is, it should be starting to happen now. You know how we, hang on a minute, sis. You know how we compartmentalize our life into a giant pizza,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
A pie. Yeah.
Right.
And so we have our significant relationships with our partners, with our kids, with our parents if they're still here,
We have work,
friends, work, colleagues, etc.,
health.
etc. Okay, bank account, bills, and we when we begin the course, we keep them all separate. Yeah. And when we look at this pie, we have one slice, and it's called A Course in Miracles.
Spirituality.
Spirituality, whatever it might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And we carefully keep that separate from everything else. My husband or my wife, she doesn't care for the course. Not interested. My kids, well, not at all.
Right.
Okay. Or whatever. Right. And so we go, okay, I need to do this, and I need to I'll just keep it to myself. I'll just keep running my life as it is. And then I will continue to try to perfect the lessons or the text or the manual for teachers in a course. And I'll just keep on going, thinking that all the other segments of our pie are not going to be affected by us doing this one segment, right?
And mythical me is constantly changing the way it talks, the way it presents itself, maybe even the way it dresses, depending on which part of the pie it's running through, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It speaks to person A differently than person B, right?
Yeah. Yes. We don't show up at church and then at work or at the club with our girlfriends the same way.
No. So we effectively become different identities for different purposes. And those different purposes are specialness, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so therefore we don't realize it at the time, but we enter these relationships with different people differently, become a different person for mutual use. Special relationships are relationships of mutual use through the ego, right? But what we do as we advance in our trust is we eventually, if we're really doing this properly, we eventually realize, oh, Holy Spirit's asking me to end my compartmentalizing, to take the compartments out so that the pie becomes one unified whole.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And how that's done is through forgiveness. But in the beginning, what we tend to do is we tend to think that forgiveness is part-time. But as we really get into the course, we realize that it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
It comes when we wake up in the morning, it becomes our number one priority. Before we go to sleep at night, it is our number one priority before we go to sleep. And we realize that forgiveness has to be applied to every compartment of our life, including for ourselves, right? All the self-judgment and all of that. I just wanted to say that because I think that's very, very important to share. at this point of the
Our
journey.
triggers and our specialness and all of that and our idols are ways in which we keep ourselves separate and different and compartmentalized, right? Yes. So forgiveness is true forgiveness. The old means of forgiveness is I'm better and different than you, and I'm still forgiving you for that real sin that you've committed. But when we start practicing true forgiveness, we're just recognizing that there's just one of us here. And how I'm seeing and treating somebody else is how I'm treating and seeing myself. And I can't do to another without doing the same thing to myself. So there goes the pizza slice, the fragmentation. And it's coming back to just seeing your brother as yourself and accepting atonement, which was that beautiful prayer. What was it? 2 lessons ago. Let me remember I am one with God, at one with all my brothers and myself, capital S, in everlasting holiness and peace. So it's the desire to extend that holiness and peace to all of creation. Nothing's left outside. There's no compartments. Nothing's different. It's just God is God and God's creation, and we are that. Thanks, sis.
And nothing else.
And nothing else. Nothing but.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
All that I give is given to myself.
So give liberally. Give generously. Give lovingly. Yes.
Don't condemn anybody. Don't judge anybody, because what you give to yourself.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time, you guys. Great lesson.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
you.
So helpful. Bye, everybody.